G'day, welcome back to another video. This one is going to be a little bit different. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you the process of me building my fourth greenhouse and all of the things that I've learnt along the way to hopefully make it better than the previous ones that I've built. So the first one I ever built was probably in 2020 or 2021, something like that. It was just one of those cheap little green square ones from Bunnings that were like $200 or something, and obviously it wasn't very good. It just decayed over time. I ended up pulling it down a few months ago to then put a better one in place, which is what I'm going to be building now. But then after the Bunnings one, I built a little similar size, but it's more like a shed, if anything, and that was, I want to say, about 2.4 meters by about 2.4 meters. It's very small. It also is still in existence. I use that as my sale greenhouse now, so all the plants that are for sale go into that greenhouse. And then the next greenhouse that I built after that is the one behind me right now. It is 6 meters by 2.4, so it's 3 or 4. I'm not good with maths. 5 times big, 3 times bigger than the sale greenhouse. I don't know. I don't math. But then anyway, a lot of things that I learnt from putting up the sale greenhouse that I then put into this greenhouse to make it better. And then a lot of things that I learnt while building that one to then make this one over here better, hopefully. But I've already stuffed up. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to be like telling you things along the way of like things not to do when building a greenhouse. I had the idea of making this video for a while now, but I wasn't really sold because I'm like, do people care? Do people care about building a greenhouse? But you know what? Let's just do it. That's why it's already partly built and I haven't recorded that process. So already I can tell you the things that are wrong with what I've done. So I thought I was buying a similar greenhouse to this. So the first thing that I want to say, and I've made it very publicly known, that I said I'd never, ever, ever buy a greenhouse like this ever again. It's very cheap. It's very flimsy. I've had nothing but issues with it. But here we are, building one very similar to it. The only difference is I feel like this one is the bigger version of the sale greenhouse that I have. The sale greenhouse I have had like metal frames for the shell of the greenhouse, which is what this one's got. Like silver, I mean, not metal. They're all metal. This one was green, if you can see that, and very flimsy. And the roof has started to come off. It's held together with duct tape. So this one I thought would be different. Still very flimsy, not surprised, it was cheap. But then, as you can see, let me flip it around. So this one came with legs. It wasn't made to be drilled into a frame. Whereas the other ones that I have don't have legs. So hopefully all I have to do is just flip them upside down like I've done here. And that should be okay. Otherwise, I'm going to have to like cut it off there. And I don't want to have to do that. The other big mistake that we made was we didn't measure the sleepers and the greenhouse itself, because the greenhouse was sold to me as 2.4 wide and the sleepers were 2.4 wide when I bought them. I didn't think that I'd have to measure them. Turns out neither of them are 2.4. They're both bigger. And unfortunately the greenhouse is bigger than the sleepers. So I have to get brand new sleepers on this side because it doesn't fit. The greenhouse is like hanging over a lot. I don't know if you can really see. So, and it's like that all the way around. So I'm only going to need to get 2 more sleepers, here and here. And then instead of having them nailed on the inside, these ones will be nailed on the outside to then give me more width to the greenhouse base. Am I making sense at all with any of this? Because like over on this one, we did it on the outside. The long sleepers were bolted in to the outside of the 2.4 sleepers, whereas I didn't do that on the other side because this greenhouse on the very edge of the base has like lips that hang on to the sleepers, which is what I accounted for with this one. Turns out this one doesn't have it. So yeah, mistakes have been made again, which is just annoying. And I feel like I have to start all over again, which is just annoying because you would think that 4 greenhouses deep, I would know what I'm doing. Turns out I don't. And then another issue that I had with this greenhouse is because it's up against the fence line, the paneling on the roof gets slid in like that. And I'm going to have the same issue with the fence over here. So I don't know how I'm going to do that because we had to bend those panelings to get them in. But with this one, I'm hoping, because I didn't know with the other greenhouse that it would need to be put in, like slid in. So with this one, hopefully I can build the roof and then put it on, now that I know that that's what's going to happen. But I'll have to wait and see. I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to keep rambling when it's just the initial start of this video. But I will just show you why I'm getting another greenhouse quickly. So the mother greenhouse, this is what I call the mother greenhouse, because all of my mother plants are in there. So this greenhouse is very overgrown, and I can't get in here, and I can't maintain it because it's just so bad now. Like, you look at this. This is the entry. Like, look at that. I can't get in there. I have to go in sideways, and then I'm knocking things over because I'm not a skinny boy. Like, I'm a big boy, and I just knock things over. So having another mother greenhouse, I'll be able to, like, separate half of this. So this greenhouse over here will be for, like, plants on poles, like 2-tier poles. This one's going to be for, like, single tier and for plants just in pots. And then eventually I'll be getting another sale greenhouse. So there's lots of things happening, but I just got to overcome all of the hurdles that it keeps throwing at me. And let me tell you, there's a lot. So it's another day, and I think it's been probably close to 2 weeks since the last clip you would have just saw. Just building the frame for this greenhouse that I'm building now has been such a nightmare. That's why it's been like 2 weeks, because yeah, we've tried to do a few things here and there, but then everything sort of just for it's like the Bermuda Triangle. Every time we try something else goes wrong. And I don't know why it was like that. But anyway, it's all figured out now. I'll show you. So all of the problems that I've had so far have been with the base, like the wooden sleepers. Even though everything was the same length and stuff, like things just were out and it was all wacky and it was just a nightmare. But anyway, figured out what the problem was. We fixed it all up. And now everything sits on there fine. Love that. But now what I need to do is go through and attach the weed mat to the base of the greenhouse, because you don't want weeds growing through your greenhouse. That's just a whole other problem that you can easily avoid by taking preparations at the beginning. I use this weed mat. It's the Pillar brand. You can get it from Bunnings, and it's about $55, I think. This will be enough to cover the entire base of this greenhouse, and all I do is I get a staple gun. And it's hard to, I'm holding the microphone, but I get the staple gun and staple it along the sides. And then I can get like 2 rows down the middle. So there's one on the left, one on the right. And then I just leave the middle part, doesn't really matter. Like, it's overlapped, but I'll show you. Anyway, I'll go ahead and do it now, and then I'll show you when I'm finished. I'm not going to show you the process because it'll be boring, but yeah, I'll just do it right now. So as you can see, the weed mat's in now. It doesn't necessarily matter if it's like perfect along the edges, because it's going to be covered. If you put like gravel or something down, obviously it's moved because of the wind, but yeah, if you put gravel down, it hides a lot of it, and then if you put shelving in, it hides it even more. So I'll continue this video in a few days, I guess, when I get gravel. How good, my battery's dying. Anyway, it's a few days later again. If there's one thing I've learnt in my life, nothing ever is easy when it comes to things that I want to do. So now Joseph and I just got back. We've got the gravel in the base of the greenhouse here. I've still got to spread it out. Let me turn it around. So yeah, I've still got to spread the gravel around so then it covers the whole base of the greenhouse. But the thing that I've stuffed up with here is I didn't get enough gravel. I could only get 1 cubic squared meter, or whatever it's called. I don't really know what it's called. 1 cubic squared meter, something like that, or get like half a cubic squared, I don't know. Or I could get 0.75. I needed 6, and I was like, well, I'll just get 5. Surely 5 will be enough. Turns out it's not, obviously. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go back and get more because then I'll just have too much. So instead, what I went and did, I went to Bunnings and I got pavers. I was going to show you, but they're all the way up the other end of the yard. I've went and got pavers, and I'm just going to put them down the middle of the greenhouse. So then I can, like, down here. Where am I here? Down the middle. So I'm going to then push all the gravel to the sides. So then in theory, it'll be enough gravel, because it's only just a little bit too little. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm only missing out by a little bit. But one of the things I sort of stuffed up with a little bit, which is like my fourth greenhouse. Come on, I should have all this sorted out by now. But this is why I'm making this video, so then people will see the mistakes that I'm making and then not make them. So as you can see here, I should have pushed in the weed mat before putting the gravel in, because now it's like the weed mat's struggling and it's coming off. Like the staples are ripping off and stuff. So I've been having to fix it up as I'm going. But it's not the end of the world. Like, I'll fix it up. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make this pretty, hopefully. So, I've got all of the pavers in. I still don't have enough gravel, but like, I don't care that much, to be honest. Am I zoomed in like there's no tomorrow? Yep. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the gravel because it's going to be covered up anyway. So I'll show you. So as you can see, like, I could definitely be leveling it out a little bit more, but I'm not going to. So yeah, there's a bit missing and stuff here. I ended up putting some more weed mat along here just to sort of like block it in a bit better, otherwise it was gonna just fall off. I know it would have. But yeah, you can see that I could definitely level it out a little bit more, but once I put the shelving and stuff on top, you're not gonna see it anyway. But for the shelving, I'm gonna use bread crates. I'm going to flip them upside down. I think because it's a hard plastic, also it'll hold the plants on it a lot better than the other shelving that I used. You can get the other shelving from Bunnings and just sort of build it yourself. I just used cinder blocks underneath the shelves itself, but I found that it started to bow in the middle with heavier plants on it. So yeah, I think bread crates is going to be better, and it's free. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace. People just give them away. So yeah, I'm going to hose this gravel down now because it looks a lot better when it's clean. It's covered in like mud now. I'll show you what it looks like. The battery in the camera is also about to die, so let's see what happens here. Like, you can actually see the colours in the gravel when it's clean compared to that. If anyone's curious, this is the budget gravel from Blue Gum Landscaping, which may or may not be near you, but it's here in the Newcastle area. There's a few of them. It looks way better when it's clean. Like, look at that. Look at that compared to that. That's just white. Anyway, I'll see you in the next part. Hello, me again. Another day. I don't really know how long it's been, to be honest. A few things have happened. I don't know what I'm going to do with this video either, whether I'm going to have like a time frame on it, because the instructions for this greenhouse say that it takes, I think it says 2 to 3 hours to build with 2 to 3 people. Not true. I mean, it's probably true if you had friends or something, I don't know, helping. But anyway, this has taken me weeks. And everything just keeps going wrong because I don't have the best luck in the world. But, spoiler alert. So, here's the progress. I've got like the metal wall part done. What a nightmare that's been. So, bit of backstory. I haven't filmed for maybe a little over a week, maybe. I'm not sure. So, I might put the dates on the screen for each day that I've done this, so we can sort of see when I started and when I end up finishing. So, let me get in there and I'll show you what I mean. So this greenhouse isn't like the other greenhouse that I have. This one was designed to go into the ground. And I think I did say that in another clip, but I'm reiterating it now because it's important. So I had to come through and drill holes into the greenhouse itself to attach it to the sleepers. That's what that is there. And keep in mind, I'm not a handyman. So what's happened is I got to the second last one, which I think was down there somewhere. That one, I think. And the drill slipped and went straight into my hand. It's probably a good thing it's blurry. No, gross. So I was out of commission with that for a while because it went deep. I had to go. It may have only been like a week ago. It's still pretty sore. It was bleeding again this morning. It's just annoying. I forgot I've got a microphone. So because of that, I had to go get a tetanus shot, and because I've never really had one, I don't think. And then turns out that like whooping cough is part of that tetanus shot. So what happens when you get a vaccination, you then get symptoms of what you're vaccinated for. And because I'm me and I don't get sick very often, and when I do get sick, I get really sick. It kind of hit me pretty hard. Like I had no energy. I was super tired. I had a little bit of a fever. But yeah, I had like a migraine and I just couldn't really get out of bed for a few days. So I lost a lot of time recently with that. But yeah, anyway, today put up the wall part. And of course, because I have the world's worst luck, this video is going to turn into like a rant video. They all toppled over. That's why I've got chairs holding it up. They toppled over and then some of them broke. They're meant to look like this, how it's like forked. And then the screw and the nut go into it like that. The ones that broke don't have that. So I've had to flip them around so they'll actually rest on the nut better. But it's just so frustrating, everything that's going wrong. I remember last time I built a greenhouse, this one over here. I said I'd never buy another cheap greenhouse, not another one off eBay anyway. Because I'm sick of dealing with this cheap crap. It just breaks, it's super flimsy, like reaching out to them, they're not any help because, I mean, they tend to make you try and jump through a lot of loops, and English isn't usually their first language, so sometimes there's a language barrier there. The people that I'm currently dealing with now, because this one's also come with some bent parts. And not only that, but these things. These things here were all off-center. The holes drilled by their machines weren't aligned properly, so I've had to come through and re-drill all the holes, which is just fantastic. That's exactly what you want to be doing when you spend a bit of money on something like this, is doing extra work that you shouldn't have to do. So yeah, dealing with the people off eBay about that has become a bit of a nightmare. They want like video evidence and all this stuff, and I'm like, I've sent them photos which clearly show the things that are wrong. That should be enough. But even like bits of like this is where the paneling will go into, these things here. Some of them have been bent, so I've had to re-bend them out so the paneling will go down eventually. It's just been a nightmare, and I had to deal with all the similar stuff when I built this greenhouse. But yeah, I don't really know what this video is going to turn out to be. It was meant to be like a building my fourth greenhouse, here's tips and tricks and things that you should do, blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of just turning into like a rant and me showing how much bad luck I have. I don't really know what this video will be. But tomorrow Joseph's coming over and hopefully we'll be able to get it all done. I was going to do like time-lapse footage and stuff, but like I don't want to. I just want to get in and get this freaking greenhouse built because it's been so long since I've had this. I just want it up and running. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow it's finished. But it's still going to be a fair while before I can actually use it because there's so much else that goes into a greenhouse that you don't think about prior to buying one. For example, I need to get a heater, I need to get shelving for the heater to sit on, I need to get a fan, I need to build a humidifier, which I'll make a video about. I'm going to probably make a video on how to build your own humidifier because they're better than store-bought ones in my opinion. I'm also going to probably put bubble wrap on the walls this time just for insulation because electricity bills with heating is a nightmare in winter. So if I can try and prevent that, that'd be fantastic. There's so much that needs to go into building this freaking greenhouse, but I'll keep recording when I do stuff. Day what feels like 573 of building this freaking greenhouse. A little bit more progress. The back peak and the front peak are done, and so is the strip along the middle. Look how uneven this is though. Well, you can't really tell, actually. Let me flip. Kinda. You can sort of see. It has straightened out a little bit since I've attached it, but geez Louise, it was bad. It was like a zigzag. I didn't want this video to be like me just complaining the entire time, but I've got to be honest with ya. Like, this has been... Like, if I died and I went to hell, I would imagine that this is what purgatory is like, just me building these greenhouses every single day for the rest of eternity is what I feel like it would be like for me if I went to hell. Like, this has been an absolute nightmare and not one part of it has been enjoyable. Like, just the amount of cuts that I've got on my hands. For example, like these pieces, the bracket or braces or whatever you want to call them, I don't know, are so sharp on the edges that I was holding them in my hands, and as I was holding them in my hands, the sides were like slicing my fingers open. Like, I don't know if you can see or not, it won't focus, but like, it's just everywhere. And like the screw, like, I've just had a really bad time. And this video was meant to be like heaps fun and me being like, watch me do this and time lapses and like all of the things that you should do kind of thing. But I just can't fake that, you know what I mean? Like, I've got to be serious and honest with people, but like, this has just been awful. I'm not going to name who the people are that I bought it off. It's on eBay. But if you search the brand Alfredson, I think it is, don't buy it. Do not buy it. I knew that I was going to like probably have trouble building this greenhouse when I bought it. The light here is really nice. It's really warm. I knew that I was going to have trouble building this greenhouse, like a little bit, but I feel like I've built a fair few now. This is my 4th greenhouse that I've built, and I had a feeling that I would know what to do because I've done it before. And I do have an idea. Like, when things happen, I sort of know how to fix it. But there's just been so many more things go wrong this time around than what they did with that other greenhouse over there. Like, that greenhouse is the exact same as this, but that one's green. Like, the metal on it's green, whereas this one's silver. And I don't know what's wrong with this one, but this one's just so much more is wrong with it. But anyway, I contacted the people that I bought it off through eBay, and it's been an absolute nightmare. Their replies are just like copy and paste generic sort of things. Like, they don't acknowledge the things that I say. And they made me like, because eBay only allows you to send photos too, they made me email them like a video of certain things. And then they sent me like a tutorial video that goes through a Chinese website and redirects you. And I'm like, this is so shady. But anyway, I contacted eBay. They've been pretty cool about it all. Long story short, I have ended up getting half of the money back that I've paid for this. Thank God. But like, even just like the paneling is just not cut correctly. You can see that like it's in here and it fits fine, but like little bits are just like wrong. So I'll have to come through with silicone later and do all this up, make it a bit more like airtight. I really wanted this to be a much more funner video, but it's taken a turn. Just goes to show that what you set out to do sometimes is not always what actually happens. But hopefully tomorrow this greenhouse will be done. The only thing left to do is the roof. And there's like another 2 big speed humps that are gonna come up, and I think I know how I'll do it, but whether it actually happens or not is a different story. When you put the roof in, it's the same sort of paneling as this, but they're meant to slide in on an angle up to the roof. So yeah, like each panel is meant to slide in like that up to the roof, and then it later gets locked down with the guttering. But I can't obviously do that against the fence. I can't slide it in. So with the other one, I had to like bend the paneling in sort of thing. It was really hard to explain because it was really hard to do. But this time I'm hoping that if I just do it bit by bit and then put like the what are they called? Like the brace or whatever, the frame that goes into here and then attaches to the roof. If I put that in one at a time on the other side and then put the paneling in as I go, it might work out easier. I don't know. But then the other big problem is going to be sliding the guttering in, because the guttering slides down here. Like over on this greenhouse, yeah, we had to slide the whole thing along. So that's going to be a problem because there's no space either side of the greenhouse. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to, because there's 3 different parts of the guttering and you have to attach them all. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to slide it in, attach the next bit, slide it in, attach the next bit. I think that's going to be the only way around doing that. Look how bowed the roof is. That'll fix itself up a little bit when I put the paneling and all that in, but that's bad. Whatever. But, you know, tomorrow's another day. Probably not going to record again until the greenhouse is completely finished. Guys, it's happened. The greenhouse is finished. Oh my God, it's been so long. I feel like it's been weeks. Flash forward to like me putting the timestamps on the video and it's been like a week, but it hasn't. It's been so long, and my blood, sweat, and literal tears have gone into this friggin' greenhouse. So many problems. Since I last recorded, which I don't even remember, it was a few days ago. I don't think I'd done the roof at that point. So the roof's been done. The instructions tell you to put both of the vents at the back on both sides, and I wasn't doing that because I did that on this one and I don't like it. The sun here hits the other side of the greenhouse roof, so I want to be able to open it without the sun directly going into the greenhouse, because then it will just probably burn plants. So that's why I put them both on this side now. That's a tip that I learned from the old greenhouse. People may be wondering why I left all of the white sheet stuff on the paneling, and for me that just provides an extra layer of protection from the sun. It's coming off on this one over here big time, but that's been like 2 and a bit years I think now. But yeah, this one, I want as much protection from the sun as I possibly can. So yeah, some issues that I had with finalizing this one was the big one. I couldn't get the guttering on this side because I accidentally apparently put it in the wrong way. So now the guttering's on upside down because I put this piece here the wrong way initially, and I was not pulling the greenhouse apart just to put one like strip of metal in the right way. So that wasn't happening. So the guttering's upside down. I'm just going to silicone all along there, and you know, pray for the best. But I can't put the caps on here, but I'll just duct tape and silicone all that and completely seal it up that way. The other big issue was the doors. When they manufactured it, they put the holes too low, and it's not a me issue because this part here is completely touching the base. It's just that this piece up here was manufactured too high, and this piece was meant to sit on top of it. But it wasn't the case, it was sitting down a bit lower. So I've had to put new holes in. You can see how bad the holes were. Like that's the original hole. I had to screw up here to get it to sit right, because the doors just would not open and close. And now they do, thankfully. Love that. But besides that, everything else is done. Now I'm up to the siliconing phase. How good is the Black V? Does anyone else drink Black V? It's my absolute favorite at the moment. It's so good. It's like coffee meets V. Anyway, so now I'm going to go through and literally silicone this entire greenhouse. It makes it more waterproof, keeps the humidity in, and stability. Because these greenhouses, like, well, that one's not a good example. Yeah, like they don't stay in, and the instructions actually tell you to silicone it in for a bit of extra stability, which I will be doing. I've bought so many tubes of silicone just to make sure this stays secure. This is a good point for me to do a time lapse, but I'm not going to. There is some issues, like the paneling at the top here doesn't go in properly. You know, it's probably me error, because I just built this by myself for the most part. Like I've had my mum sometimes, Joseph's helped me a few times, my mate Vance has helped me a couple of times, Ben helped me build the base. But for the most part, it's just been me. So there's probably a lot of human errors on my behalf, but I can't tell you how bad this greenhouse is. Like the manufacturing of it is just awful. But we have forecasted rain for the next week or so here where I live in Newcastle. So I'm going to try and get in now and get as much of this silicone done as I possibly can, because you can't really silicone when it's raining. The one that I've got's quick set. You can leave it for like an hour. It takes about an hour to set before you can get it wet, and it's waterproof and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I need to get in before it's raining. All I do is just wear a glove, get the silicone and like pull the trigger and go in and like use my finger to force it into the gaps. I do that throughout the entire greenhouse. It takes ages. I probably won't even get it all done today, but figured I'd give you as an update. I'm so glad this is over. Like, it's really been playing on my mental health. Hopefully the rest of this video now is just all positive stuff and really like exciting stuff for me to do. What am I saying? I don't know. Look how uneven I've made the tiles too. I didn't even realize that until right now. Look at the middle of this to where the tiles are sitting. Oh, who even cares at this point? Let's hope that the next clip isn't me like showing you that the wind blew the greenhouse down. Because just my luck. Hey, another day, another dollar. So now I am finished putting all the silicone along the edges. So It's still like dripping in places, and I think I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so over this. Let me flip it around so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So I've gone through. Can you even see it on the camera? I think so, but I've gone through and I put silicone around every single edge in this greenhouse. It took 2 days, and my hand is so sore from squeezing the trigger, but it's they recommend doing it in the manual just so then it like secures the greenhouse a little bit more with the paneling and like makes it waterproof. But I'm straight up just doing it for the stability of it. I don't want this greenhouse like having the paneling blow off when it's really windy and stuff. So I definitely was doing it for that reason. But I'm noticing that things are still leaking. Granted, I did all this siliconing when it was raining. You're not supposed to. But I'm super impatient. And I needed this done. So I may have to come through and touch some things up. But I don't care if it leaks, to be honest. As long as it's not dripping into the pots and stuff, which it's not going to be. It seems to only be dripping onto the pavers and along the walls. Like this one. That wall's pretty bad. But my arms are so sore because I've been holding them like above me, doing the roof with the silicone. But I'm going to have to wait until it's like not raining to then go through and, you know, look at all the silicone and like tap it and see if it's all sealed, blah blah blah. I have to wait until it's not raining to do that. I'm not too bothered if it's completely sealed or not. I'm also going to put some duct tape along the middle of the roof because based on my old greenhouse, because there's nothing on the roof holding it down really, it does have a tendency to sort of flap around sometimes. So I'm just going to come through and put duct tape all along on a day that's not raining because it's not happening today. There's so much condensation in here from all the rain. So that's something that I'm going to be doing. The next thing I'm going to do is, like the next big thing I'm going to do is bubble wrap everything for insulation. Usually it's better to use, I've done a little bit of research. Usually it's better to use the big bubble wrap. But it was so hard to find that in bulk here in Australia. I think it's because insulating your greenhouses is mostly more for like places that snow, like England. I don't know. But yeah, we don't get snow where I live. Some days there'll be like a little bit of frost in the morning, but that's about it. So I'm just going to use the regular old bubble wrap. It's going to be better than nothing. But I need to wait for the clips to arrive in the mail before I can do that. They're coming from China. So it's probably going to be a few weeks before I can fully go ahead with everything, unfortunately. But I've bought everything else. I've got a shelf that will go here that'll hold the fan and the heater, and underneath down the bottom I'm going to build a humidifier. I think I've already said that, but if I haven't, I'm going to make a video about it. But right now I think I'm going to come along and try and figure out what to do about all the weed mat, because it's already, let me flip. It's already like from like where we've had the ladder sitting and stuff, it's already started to come apart. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Obviously I'll staple all it back on, but I don't know if I should double layer it and like do another pass. I don't really know, because I've noticed down here, I don't know if you'll be able to see or not. Yeah, I don't think you can see. I can't even see it, but in the afternoon when the sun's on that side, you can see straight through this weed mat here, which makes me believe that wind's going to come through. And if wind comes through, then there's a chance that it'll blow panelings out and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to put on the outside to block that. If anyone has any suggestions, and if I haven't figured it out by the time this video goes up, I'd love to know. And then I also bought a couple of little locks for the doors, because the doors don't have any locks. I bought one for the other greenhouse too, but I haven't put them up yet because it's been raining. But yeah, I think that's it for this part of the video. I will resume recording when I'm doing the bubble wrap, I suppose. Maybe I'll do a time lapse then. I'd like to do a time lapse. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I can be bothered. Depends what mood I'm in. See what goes wrong with this greenhouse. So what are we on? Day 474 or something. Actually had a pretty productive day today. So I can't even remember what the last thing was that I've recorded, because I think it was pre-bubble wrap. And I said I was going to do a time lapse of the bubble wrap, and I didn't record any of the bubble wrap. Look, let's be honest, this video is not what it was meant to be. Can't polish a turd, well you can, but it's still going to be a turd, and that's what this video is going to be. So, anyway, so I ran out of the clips that I was using for the bubble wrap, so I've had to stop with that anyway. So I'll show you that. Let me turn. So I got to here, which is like one panel away from finishing. I've done all down here. So yeah, that's another thing too, is I've put the fan in, the heater in, shelving. I've started to put the bread crates in. One of them won't fit. It fit when I was doing the test. Like before the greenhouse was built, we tested how many will fit along here, and they fit. It was a tight squeeze, but I think with everything else that's going on, it's just too tight. So instead of just turning this one sideways, it's going to be a little bit of a gap. It's like, whatever. At this point in time, I don't care. Actually, what I might do, because this is going to be the humidifier, it was meant to go in there, but it won't fit. So what I might do is move the bread crates down, and the humidifier can just sit on the ground. That might be the best thing to do, actually. I might do that. So yeah, I haven't really done this side. I've only got to here with the bubble wrap. I figured I would stop on this side and just do one side, so then at least I can start putting plants on this side. And especially with the heater and the fan in here now, I can, you know, everything's good to go. I can start putting plants in here finally. So that's exciting. I've put some of these basic ones in here. I've had these in here for about a week now, just because they're easy. They don't really care about temperature, things like that. So yeah, they've just been chilling in here. It also kind of helps that I haven't got crates up here because they were sitting on the power cords, which I didn't love. I don't think it'd be too big of a deal, but it is what it is. So they come out here, and then I've got like these things that will hold them in place up the side of the greenhouse. This has come off, so that's annoying. That was there right before I started filming, and because I've started filming, it's trying to embarrass me. I might put some super glue on there or something. And then I put another one up here, and then everything just sort of sits behind it. I might put some super glue on that too, just to be sure. And then I cut a little hole in here and fed it through. I'll go in and I'll show you the inside too. So in here, this used to be a bird aviary. It's now empty, obviously. So, it's tight squeeze. So I've fed it through up here. Here I have the thermostat, which will trigger the heater when it drops below 15 degrees. And then it comes out through the top here. It's so dark. And then I've just shoved it all up behind this shelving unit here. So it just goes all the way up along there, along the top here, and then down into this Arlec power board that you can, allegedly you can switch off each individual PowerPoint thing, socket, but they haven't worked for me. I've had a few of them now. The old one used to, but this new version that they've released doesn't work for me, so whatever, I'm just using it as a power board anyway. But yeah, I think tomorrow I might actually start putting some more plants on poles in there. I probably need to level the shelving out a little bit, like the bread crate one, but I really don't care that much, to be honest. I think if I absolutely have to, I'll just stomp on it to flatten it down a bit, but I can't tell you how overbuilding this greenhouse I am. It's gone on way too long. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong, and I'm just ready to move on. I've not cut up a pole or done anything like that with plants in months, probably 3 or 4 months. It's been that long, so I'm just over it. I miss doing what I like doing with plants. I might actually end the video here, because what else can I show you, really? I can show you the final version of it, but I will be doing a tour video in there anyway, so I'll probably just end the video here. And with the humidifier and stuff, I'm going to do a whole video on how to build your own humidifier. So yeah, I think there's nothing else that I need to show you. Greenhouse is built. The only other thing that I'm going to do actually is I've bought it. It's in here. I don't know if you can see it on the ground. Is I'm going to put shade cloth over the top. And a good trick with that if you want one, is attach it to a long plank of wood. I don't know if you can see that. And then, staple it into the wood or whatever. So that way in winter, you can, if you choose to, I don't, but you can then roll it up and take it off, so then the plants get more sunlight during the day. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it on there, I think, to be honest with you. Whoa, big crow. Oh, that's something else too that I didn't mention. So I went to Bunnings and they have like this garden edging stuff, which is one of the things that I was not sure how to do, like how to finish it, because there was a big gap underneath the greenhouse and cold air was going to come in. So you can just get this garden edging stuff. It was like $64 or something, I think, from Bunnings. And yeah, it's completely blocked everything off. Love that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm ending the video here. I've said that like 15 times. If anything major pops up, I will record it, but pretty sure the next time you'll see inside the greenhouse will be the tour video. And then also a humidifier video. I'll do that. And I'll show that in action in the greenhouse. So you'll see inside the greenhouse again. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'm very curious. I'm going to put it on the screen right now how many days it took to build this greenhouse. From the moment I started recording to today. In my mind, it's been like 3 months, but I know that it's probably only been about maybe 5 or 6 weeks. Anyway, it'll be on the screen. All right, thank you for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. This has been a journey. I hope you found some sort of tip or trick if you go to build your own greenhouse too. That was the whole purpose of this video in the beginning, was to showcase some tips and tricks that I've used through the years of building greenhouses. So hopefully that paid off. But I will see you in the next video. The next one might be the humidifier video. Hopefully. Goodbye.